Okay, folks, so we're about to paint the inner part of the eye, the eyeball. Now, notice that you're going to see that there's the outside edge, there's this sort of middle tone, and there's highlights. So you have at least 3 colors, but some of you might see 4 or even 5. So I'm going to really quickly show you my technique. I'm going to go with the orange colors. And notice that here's my orange in the middle. I mixed some shades. Orange plus black equals brown. And then I added some tints to make some highlight colors. All right? And I don't even know which ones I'm going to use. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and start with my dark green color. I had a little bit on there yesterday that was totally different, but I'm not worried. I'm going to actually change the color and paint right on top. Now notice that I am dipping my brush in and twisting it, and I'm barely getting any paint on the tip. All right, that's all you need, friends. Let's get to business. I'm going to put my hand down. I'm going to slowly drag around. When the paint's running out, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to re-dip. Remember, I'm going to twist. I don't have a ton of paint on my brush, just enough to be able to control it as I go around the eye. Now, one thing I noticed yesterday is that a lot of people like to paint like this. Okay? That's fine when you're filling stuff in. But when you're painting, you're trying to make a clean edge around the circle of that eye, you got to keep your hand down. You got to get a little paint at the tip, and you got to just push and slowly drag. Okay? Now, once I have something like this, now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go into my can of water, I'm going to clean my brush, I'm going to dry it really well with this rag because you know it gets very sloppy. And now I'm going to dip into my next color. And before I get to my nice bright orange, I'm going to go with this other color of like an orange shade. And now I'm going to be able to kind of move my brush faster because I have more space to fill, right? So I can sort of get a little bit more wild and free here. I can sort of paint a little bit quicker. And then I accidentally just dipped into my orange. So you could sort of experiment a little bit as you go. And what you're going to notice though is you're going to notice that some colors are thin. Some colors are going to take multiple coats to cover. They're like see-through. Okay, so you're going to learn that as you go, that some colors in this box are translucent. They're very thin. So I got this outside edge with my sort of shade, and now I'm going to fill the inside part with orange. All right, I got my orange right here. Remember, I'm just keeping the paint at the tip. I'm not going to use a ton of paint. I want to be able to control it. I spread it. This is not a race. You want to be able to be in control. Now notice how I'm not painting the pupil right now. That's because the pupil is actually on top, right? This iris color is behind the pupil technically. And it's going to make sense now because I can dip in and I can sort of get these highlight colors that you see here, and I can sort of apply them on top. I can sort of make these kind of like eye colors. Oh, whoops, I just went into the pupil. Oh, no. I could just sort of make these highlight colors just to give that eye a little depth, right? I could dip into my other highlight color and put some extra action on there, right? So there's a lot of ways that you're going to want to experiment during this process, okay? And then the beauty of that is, see, I don't have to worry about going into that pupil. And then the beauty of that is the last thing I will do to seal the deal is I'm going to come back to my original black and I'm going to fill in the pupil. All right, nice and solid, nice and opaque. I'm going to just keep my hand down, slowly drag around, and boom, there we go. Now some of you might be saying, well, what about this giant sort of like, white spot here? All right, well, cool. We can always paint that right on top. And notice that that white spot is in between the pupil and the edge of the iris. So I'm dipping it in, and I'm just going to paint that right on top. Now, if your paint's still wet, it's going to blend together, and it's going to make it less white. So that's up to you. Or you could let it dry, paint that on top. Boom, boom, boom. There you go, folks. All right, let's knock that eye out, and then we'll talk about the skin.